Welcome to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Tony Jacobs. This podcast is not just about making money. It's about creating a legacy that stands the test of time. From analyzing market trends to mastering negotiation skills, we will leave no stone unturned as we guide you through different stages of real estate investing. We will bring on industry leaders and share stories from the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So now, it's time to level up your real estate game. And there's no better way to do it than right here with us at the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast.
Good evening, Tony.
Hey, what's good, Rob?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's been a while for us, but man, we back at it now. We're going to be coming on stronger and faster in everything that we do. I just got a lot of energy. I just had to say that real quick.
That's right. I love it. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, we haven't been on the mic for a while, but we got everything back in order. So we're going to be putting out each week for our listeners to listen to, especially on our the professionalistrealestateinvesting.com, our website. I'm going to be putting out a blog every Sunday. I've already done a couple on the website. This past Sunday, the one that I thought would be good come to mind is what kind of mindset should you have in real estate investing? And then I have 3 others too. So if anybody would like to go to that website, read it, pretty good information that you need to help you out in your investing journey.
Hell yeah, that sounds great. When we left you guys off last, we were talking about different types of investors and different types of syndications.
Yes, and syndication was huge. We had a great conversation about syndication. We started off with like what the benefits of syndication. And it is a joint effort. It's a team effort because not one person is involved. It's basically a conglomerate of a lot of people involved. But today we're going to break it down to who basically orchestrates it and how it's dealt with.
Sounds good. I kind of got into that a little bit on the last episode, the solo episode that I did by myself. But I think we're going to get into it a lot more here today, definitely, and really make sure everybody's familiar with these concepts and with the terminology.
Exactly, because the last time we left off it dealt with syndication. The benefits of it was cash flow, leverage, equity and appreciation, and tax advantages. But we're going to shift that over to how these syndications, how they're brought about, how are they built? They're built upon who deals with it, because there's like I said, there's a conglomerate of people, how it's dealt with. So the first one that we have to deal with is the general partner. The general partner is basically the main person that's dealt with syndication. There's different areas that they deal with. The first one is negotiation with the sellers is number one. And after they negotiate with the sellers, then they have to negotiate with the lenders. And you have to remember when it comes to investing in commercial real estate, it's not about appraisals or credit. It's more or less the deal. That's what you're concentrated on.
Right, exactly.
Because a lot of people, they get misconstrued about that. They're like, well, how does your credit have to look or anything like that? I'm like, no, it really has to deal with how much money can be made off these properties. The more doors, the more opportunities.
Right. They're not looking at what you've done in the past. They're looking at what the property's doing. They're looking at it as an asset. And as a 9-to-5 worker, as somebody who's middle class or lower class, we're not ever taught that type of mindset at all. We're taught that if you want something, you have to go out and earn it. If you're going to use credit for it, then you're going to be paying for it for the rest of your life. And all that we are ever taught to buy are what's called liabilities. We're not ever taught to invest in assets. We're not ever told or shown what an asset is. A lot of people that I grew up around have no idea what the word asset actually means. They think that means a partner with a job.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. We'll get into a deep conversation in episode different, exactly what you're talking about, because exactly what you just said. They don't teach this in school. There's a reason why they don't teach it in school. So that's going to be, we're going to have to bring out like a rough draft of like what couple episodes that we're going to do, because just off of what you said right there, from credit to mindset to what the American dream is, working at a great job for 40 years, then retire and then live a little life and then croak over and pass away. That sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yeah, that's not a viable option any longer. It used to be you get married, one person goes to work, the other person stays home and raises their 2.5 kids. You have a swimming pool in the back, you each have a brand new car in the front, your 2-car garage, all that nonsense. It ain't gonna happen no more. At least not working for these corporations that are laying everybody off left and right now. We've seen them throughout the pandemic making these record profits, and look at how they're treating people. So personally, I think the best thing to do is, become an entrepreneur yourself and get out there and make something happen for yourself instead of relying on somebody else to continue to put food on your table. Stability is not going to come from others. Not in this economy, not no more.
No, not at all. And that's why that with you and I, like, multifamily is definitely a great asset to have. It can just generate so much for your livelihood. And what I mean livelihood is you don't have to work a 9 to 5. You get into the right deal, you don't have to really work again. You actually can go from one deal to another deal to another deal. It's just amazing how it is. It's uncharted territory when people don't know about it. And they look about it and they're like, this is too good to be true. I'm like, this is always how it's been. So that's why we want people aware of exactly how syndications are done. We don't know everything, but at least we know a little something of something.
That's right. And we're constantly learning new things. We're constantly doing research. We're constantly looking for new people to work with, new people to learn from, constantly trying to increase our network. These are things, that's our due diligence of investing into ourselves before we have a chance to invest into a property. When we are able to do our due diligence with these properties, though, you better believe we're going to be coming ready.
Oh, yes. Amen. And then I also want to say, when we get into the general partner, and I'm going to get into a second, but I want to, when I was talking about like the tax benefits. So a lot of people don't know that the tax book is over 77,000 pages, but only 5% of the tax book, and I've done my research on this, only 5% of the tax book is how to pay taxes. The other 95% is how not to pay taxes. And what I mean by that, I mean by what the government allows you to take and reduce your taxes. Not scheming the government, but how it's a blueprint. It's a blueprint. It's nothing new. It's nothing old. It's always the way it's been. So that's why we view, like, with a syndication, there's so many benefits, and one of them is tax benefits.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the greatest benefits, in fact, is the tax benefits, because it's commercial real estate, because you have such an opportunity for such high ROIs, because it's such a stable thing, and especially in today's housing market, multifamily is the way to go.
Yes. As I always say, the more doors, the more opportunities.
That's right.
So with the general partner, as I was saying, negotiation with the sellers, negotiating with the lenders. But the number, in any not any typical order, but number 3, definitely I would view as number 1, is negotiation with the brokers, because the brokers are the ones that can find you what you need. If you tell them, hey, I need an apartment complex with 35 doors in such and such area, they would do their best they can, because they would, like you said, do their due diligence and find you the best criteria that they can meet for you. So I view that negotiation with the brokers is definitely huge.
Oh, most certainly. They're going to be able to make sure that you're getting the money that you need as well when it comes to loan time,
Yes.
Because that's really the thing about syndication is we're not looking for somebody to come in and float the whole thing. We just need to cover that little 10% at the beginning so we can get the loan. Then once you have the loan, you have the place under a mortgage, then we start paying the bills with that mortgage. And then also the investors get their money. Once all the bills are paid and the investors get their money, we might be able to eat off of it. But that first deal, we probably ain't going to eat off till it sells, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's why I like with the projection, with the general partner, they always have a projection of how much the returns are going to be. Because they got to deal with, the rent roll. What other activities in the area that might be being built up? It could be a mall complex, your Starbucks, Home Depot, your Lowe's. It depends, because that can just change the area of how much, because you got to think more people that come through, more population, more people are like, okay, look at this. This is a beautiful complex. And then it just fills right up and you have no idea like how fast it filled up.
Right, exactly. And then you also want to be able to go and talk to rental agencies around the place, see what's going on with that. That's part of your due diligence, and see what's going on with other properties that are in similar neighborhoods, in similar shapes, similar ages, what the vacancy rates are like. There's a lot that goes into it.
I had to cut you off. I was just thinking on the top of my head before I forget. A lot of people go to the courthouse and they go to the zoning department because they know exactly like what's going to be going in what area and what time frame it's going to also.
Right. Like they say, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
True. Yeah. So the general partner has a lot of activities that needs to be done underneath them. What's great about the general partner, they've been in majority times, 99.99% of the time, they've been in other deals. So they orchestrate this as best as possible. They'll even find out like how many people need to be a part of the deal. Mm-hmm. So the general partner has a lot of activities. Now, people might be asking them, what is a limited partner? Limited partner is the one that puts up the money.
Right.
They're the ones who do not have active investor duties to the multifamily syndication.
Exactly. That's the goal right there. The goal is to start out where we're at, where we're just learning our butts off. Then we become the general partner.
Yes.
Become the general partner, and we start getting some sweat equity.
Yes.
We get that sweat equity built up, and we get some real equity in some buildings, in some apartment complexes, in some trailer parks.
Yes.
And we start making some real money like that without having to do anything. That's when the traveling starts happening. That's when life starts opening back up to the way it's supposed to be, and we can get out of this rat race.
Yes. And that's when you start building your portfolio, and your portfolio just builds up like no other.
That's it right there. That's it.
So all the general partner or the sponsor, all they're doing is they're providing an opportunity to investors to invest alongside them. So the general partner, they have a lot of activities. As I said before, they have to do the underwriting and building out of the financial models for the limited partners, because they have to get all their ducks in order. They have to present this to limited partners so a deal can come about.
Definitely. Essentially, you want to think of it like a sales pitch when you come to these people, you want to be able to come with all your ducks in a row. You want to have the information for the questions that they're going to be asking you. You want to know everything there is to know: the age of the roof, the pipes, the electrical. You want to know the vacancy rates. You want to be able to pull up a rent roll and show them the history of the rent being paid there. You want to have an idea of how you can increase the rent at this place and increase the property value so that when it does come time to sell or refinance, that these people are going to get their money back guaranteed. You are essentially going to be coming at them, trying to present them with a rock solid plan of how they're going to give you money, and you're going to increase the amount of money that they have over time.
I couldn't say that any better.
You gotta come correct. I don't know how else to put it. You can't half step with this kind of stuff. This is not like, oh, I'm going to go apply for a job and then I'm going to go do this thing. And it don't really matter how things work out. No, this really matters. This is a big deal.
As I would say, this is not child's play.
No, No, this isn't small potatoes.
No.
This is people's livelihoods. And if you fail at this, if things don't work out right, then it could be your livelihood. This could be your home that ends up being taken because you owe people a lot of money. And so while we're telling you guys about all this other stuff, we're going to be dropping you guys some knowledge about how to protect yourself from situations like that, how to put layers of security between yourself and the deals. So that way you don't end up losing your car. You don't end up losing your home. You don't end up losing your whole butt. You want to make sure that if anything ever does happen, that you are not personally liable for that kind of stuff. But it's not as easy as just getting an LLC and hiding behind an LLC.
No.
There's a lot more to it, and we'll have to get into that another time.
True. It takes a team effort. And like you said, you have to come correct. You're dealing with millions and millions of dollars. Look at the system what we have about when we do apartment syndications. Like, it has it broken down to how we could put in, we want to buy this apartment complex for $10 million, but we want to hold it for 5 years. But how do you go about doing rent rolls? How do you start doing depreciation? A lot of stuff comes into play when it comes to that with apartment syndication. So it's nothing. This is no joke. But if you do it the right way, all I can smell is freedom.
Freedom. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I can smell freedom. But as you were saying, like the general partner, like they have a lot of activities. I'm going to run through a couple things real quick, what they have to do. Besides the, negotiation with the sellers, the lenders, and the brokers. They have to underwrite and build a financial model and projections for the deal for the limited partners. That's huge. Next, they have to secure the finances for the given property and sometimes signing personal guarantees on the debt.
What did I just tell you?
Yes, you did.
Just tell you. If it falls apart, you could be held personally liable for that kind of stuff.
Yes. Another one, performing due diligence on any given property. Due diligence is huge because you have time. You have time points that stuff needs to get done. And the general partner has to make sure all his I's are dotted and his T's are crossed. Another one is building out business plans and then executing on them. This might sound overwhelming. Well, you know what? It is overwhelming, but a person who does this for so long, it could be second nature to them. So that's why general partners, they've already had experience with dealing with multifamilies before.
Well, also, that's why it's really important to remember that this is a syndication. And a syndication means that it's teamwork. This is not one person going out and doing all these things by themselves. This is, you're working with somebody who knows about how to run rent rolls, somebody who knows about how to get a hold of management companies, somebody who knows about vacancy, who knows about asset depreciation. You're going to be working with people who understand how to look at a place and tell if there's dry rot. You're going to be able to work with people who can look at the roof without ever having to get on top of it and tell you, no, man, that roof's 12 years old and you really need to replace it. Look at the shingles and the way they layered it up there. That's not okay. You can't have that.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. It's really, really important as a general partner to understand both your capabilities and your limitations. And remember, it's always... in this game, it's always about who, not how. We're trying to figure out who can get this done for us, not how can we get this done. Because if we waste our time, if we waste our whole lives trying to get things done ourselves, then nothing's going to get done in a timely manner whatsoever. So you always want to try to remember who, not how. It's a really, really important part of this mindset thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, you have to have the right frame of mind because everything isn't for everyone. You have to be built strong for it. And another thing that comes also too, so you might want to ask, as I was saying, general partners, all their duties, the limited partner, their main thing is to bring the cash flow. But they have to decide if it's going to be beneficial for them. And like as you were saying, it's who, not how, which is huge because not everyone can be in syndications. Not many people have the capital for syndications. So, but there's all different types of syndications that can be. And there's some that I've seen that people put in 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. And the general partner has a portfolio like, all right, this is how much you'll get from where we are right now. This is steps that we're going to take from our rent rolls to, like zoning permits. Things that are going to get changed. It's going to change the whole atmosphere of where it's laid out at these apartments, which is going to generate more revenue for these apartments. So there's a lot of stuff that comes into play. But who can invest in these syndications? So you have an accredited investor and we have a non-accredited investor. So what would you think would be best? To be non-accredited or accredited?
Really, it depends. So, if you want to be an accredited investor,
yes,
you better come with some racks. There's a lot of them. You got to be able to prove that you make a certain amount of money every year. But if you want to be non-accredited, then it's vague. You got to be able to prove that you have experience and knowledge in the business and be able to tell whether or not it's a good investment, essentially.
Yes, you're right. Because the accredited investor, for everyone wants to know about an accredited investor, you have to have an annual income of $200,000 for yourself or $300,000 a joint income between husband and wife for each of the last 2 years. Or have a net, you might have a net income, exceeding over $1 million. You might have that in your back pocket right now, Rob. I don't know. But you might be accredited right now as we speak.
Let's not get into that.
Now, a non-accredited is an individual who also may not meet the accredited financial requirements, but also doesn't necessarily have any experience in investing. So as I said before, that's just the person who says, hey, how much am I going to get on this return? What benefits going to come out of it? I'm going to take it. It's going to offset my 9-to-5 job.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where, so I have seen my share of accredited and non-accredited syndications. I've seen it where there wasn't enough accredited investors that they brought in more non-accredited investors. I've seen that done before.
Right. And that makes total sense. And that's why the SEC lays out different regulations for different types of syndications. You have your 506B, your 506C, your 506C3. There's a bunch of different types of syndications. And, it's really important that when you start your syndication that you start it out the right way and that you follow those guidelines so that things don't end up falling apart on you.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. I would love to be, like you said, depends, both.
Yeah.
I want it to be both.
Well, obviously the goal is to become the accredited investor.
Yes.
Because the non-accredited investor, you have to prove that you have knowledge and whatnot, and it seems like it's a little bit more work. However, if you're making that money, then what do you got to worry about? You just start investing, and hopefully you put it in the right things and you're smart enough.
Yes. So I remember the last episode we had about syndication. I brought up the question about an inflation period, which we're definitely in that right now. Why is investing in multifamily real estate a good option during periods of inflation? Because right now we are in a pretty big bind, especially with the debt ceiling.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that question I knew that I needed to bring up because I was going to talk more about it. So one reason why it's a good option during inflation is just regardless of the economic situation, people will always need some place to live. This means that there will always be a demand for rental properties. I've said this before that the generation, I can't remember what generation it is. I don't know. It's something from A to Z somewhere in there. That they said that this one generation, they don't want to buy a home. They just want to rent.
Yeah, Gen Z.
Oh, Gen Z?
Yeah.
Yeah. I when I heard that just put the biggest Kool-Aid smile on me right there. I was like, oh, thank you so much.
People in their early 20s right now, man. So like, I'm a millennial, right? I'm 36 years old.
Yes.
It's very difficult for people in my generation to realize the American dream if they're awake.
Yes.
And so generations after me, it's just getting harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. It's not getting easier the traditional way.
No.
Because they've been pulling the wool over our eyes for so long.
Yes.
That's the problem.
I'm glad you said that.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm glad you said that because before I forget, the President of the United States with the new credit about buying homes. So if a person has good credit, I believe it's at 680, that they would get a higher interest rate than a person under 680.
Is that a specific program or is that in general?
From what I was told, it was in general.
That's something different. I don't know how to feel about that.
Right?
You know,
Why do you want to penalize somebody who's got a great credit score? You know what I mean?
Well, let's be straight about that too. If you've got a 680 or better and you're not leveraging your credit to do great things, you know, if you don't have an entrepreneurial mindset and you have a 680 or better credit score and you're just using that to make sure that you can pay for your groceries and rent a car every once in a while when your car breaks down, or get a 5-year-old car every 10 years, you know, something like that. If that's the only thing that you're doing with your credit, you don't deserve to have credit like that anyways. There's no reason for it. You should be going out there and getting yourself a Sprinter van, and you should be decking it out like a little party van. You should be renting that thing out as many nights of the week as you can, as many nights of the month as you can, so that it can pay for itself and it can make you a little bit of money. You know, you could be, depending on where you live, you could go out and you could get yourself, with that kind of credit rating, you go out and get yourself a nice car, a nice Mercedes or something, and you could put it on Turo. And you could rent that thing out on Turo every single day, and you could be making some money. The only reason I ain't doing something like that is because look at where we live, man.
Exactly.
You know, it's not available here. But believe you me, if we lived 2.5 hours south of here, man.
Yes. Get
yourself a Lambo, put it on fucking Turo. Excuse my language. Get yourself a Lambo, put it on Turo. You know what I mean?
Sorry for the aggressiveness for operating there.
And make yourself $1,000 a day off of that thing.
Yes.
You know, the car note on one of those is what, $6 a month?
Yes.
So, well, you rent it out for a week, and there you go, made $1,000. You paid for your whole car and your months of insurance.
Yeah.
And then you force the people who carry their own insurance as well through the app. So you have your insurance covering your asset at that point. It's no longer a liability. And you could go drive it 23 days a month.
And that's that entrepreneurial mindset right there.
That's part of that mindset that you got to change. You can't stay stuck in this rat race nonsense. They're going to trap you. You're going to be there your whole life. You're going to be poor for forever. And you're going to just have a job. A job is an acronym. It stands for just over broke. You don't want to stay there your whole life. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you do. And honestly, like, I feel bad for you if that's where you're at and you're listening to the wrong podcast for it. This ain't the podcast for you. You're going to be flipping burgers or mopping floors your whole life. I'm sorry, but, you know, go listen to Joe Rogan. Don't be over here.
But as we said, we need them. We need the 9 to 5. We need the W-2 jobs.
We do. We do.
We do.
I enjoy being able to go get a pizza. Okay?
Exactly.
I enjoy being able to walk into a gas station and get a cigar.
Yes.
I don't want to have to go in there and deal with a robot yet.
No. That's a whole nother topic right there, AI.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So another good option during inflation, that especially what we're going through right now, is you can add value to your investment. For example, you may renovate your properties and charge a higher rent later, which a lot of people have done during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Rents have been going up like crazy.
Man, the pandemic, let me see, 3M, rents. There's a lot of people who made a lot of money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh goodness. Yeah. Definitely rent.
Oh my God, they made a lot of money too.
Ungodly. Yeah, I mean the hospitals, the banks, the PPE loans. Man, I could just dig in the crates for more and more and more. Yeah. But another good option when it comes to real estate, you have more control over your investments. So when you invest in real estate, you have more control over your investments than in investing in any other type of property. For example, you can adjust the fair rate on your rental units, excuse me. And if you need to sell your investment, you can do so without any restrictions.
Attention realtors. First impressions are so important for real estate sales. Having a clean logo with easy to read information can impress a buyer and potentially get you that sale. Here at Boundary Waters, we excel at first impressions. If you need a logo or lawn signs, give us a call. Our experience at signs and banners have been proven for over a decade. Give us a call, 530-221-2151. Again, that's 530-221-2151. Boundary Waters Screen Printing, home of the Surf Ninja. www.boundarywatersinc.com.
And so another thing about this is that there's no rigid structure on how you're going to do this. Okay. You have options. You can follow in line the way that everybody else has always done it. You can do it your own way. There's this guy that I heard about secondhand. For the last 25 years, he's been buying a house every year with his 9-to-5 job. And every year he puts a tenant in that house and he starts their rent at whatever the fair market value is at the time that they enter the house. And then from then until the time they move, he doesn't increase rent one time. And then when they leave, he brings it back up to fair market value and then he brings someone else in. And by doing that, he's getting himself long-term tenants.
Yes.
And so you want to think about this. You got to be smart. You don't want to just be pushing your rent rates up constantly,
No.
because that's how you push tenants out.
Yes.
That's how, if a tenant can live in your place and pay $12.50 a month, or live in a place that's almost exactly the same in the same school district, maybe a couple neighborhoods over for $8.50 a month, where do you think they're going to try to be? They're not going to try to be in the more expensive place that's exactly the same as the place that's $8.50.
No.
However, that's where it becomes your job to then provide amenities or provide certain things that make it worth their while to pay you that extra money. It's your job to incentivize your tenants then to turn around and say, oh yeah, well, this place is a little bit more, but look, we got these really nice gardens. There's always people coming in here making sure that the flowers aren't dead and laying around. It's always really clean around here. They're always making sure that the outside of the building is nice. Little things like that. The parking lot is always great. When it starts cracking and the blacktop's falling apart, they get somebody in here right away to fix it. That kind of stuff. It also makes your reputation different depending on how your tenants are viewing you, because no matter what, if you're going through a rental agency or you're self-managing, your decision is what bases what gets done there. A rental agency can only advise you of things. They
Yes.
can't actually do things without your go-ahead. And so it's up to you whether or not you want to be a landlord or a slumlord.
Yeah. You're either going to be a great because this gentleman right here that you're speaking about, to me, he's a great landlord. Like longevity, he's going to always have somebody in his place, in one of those places, all the time.
So that's the old joke, right? Where there's a bull and there's like an old bull and a young bull, and they're standing on a hill, and they're overlooking a field of cows. And the young bull looks at the old bull. You know, they're the only two bulls. They're all female cows down there. And he looks at the old bull and he says, man, let's go down there. We can each get one of them. Let's run down there. We each get one. The old bull goes, nah, let's walk and get them all. You want to make that fast quarter, or do you want to make the slow nickel? You know,
yes.
I want to make that slow nickel that keeps coming and coming and coming to me. You know, I want to find that honey hole that keeps paying me for years to come. It's like our Warren Buffett analogy. You know, look at how much the CEO of Coca-Cola makes. Look at how much Warren Buffett makes every year. You know, and
straight no brainer.
They're both invested into the same company, just different types of investments.
Yes. I was going to also say, with the gentleman you're talking about, he's always going to have somebody in his place. And you have to think of it. Say if that person is there for a year or 2 years and they move, and because they have enough financial, they move to another state, or they have the financial means to buy their own house. They're always going to have a good referral system. Why? Because they had these tenants was taken good care of, and they'll tell other friends like, hey, do you want this place? So it goes a long ways.
Right, exactly. Good tenants bring you good tenants.
Exactly. And actually they'll take care of your place.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know that firsthand. Like the place that I'm living in right now, I'm renting. And when I moved in there, it was just like really cheap hog wire fencing around with T-posts.
Yeah.
You know? And so like right away, before I even moved in there, man, I went and bought a bunch of fencing material. And like right after I moved in, we put wood fence around on the back and all the way down one side. And then out front, the most I could do is 4-foot chain link. So I put 4-foot chain link out there, dude. And I got a chain link fence out front, and it looks way better. And I didn't ask. I didn't say nothing to them. I just did it. And then they came to me, and they're like, hey, why'd you do that? I was like, because I live here.
Yes.
Why do you think I did that? I don't want to live in a dump.
No.
So I want to make sure that I don't have to. You know?
Yes.
And if that means that I spend my time and my money upgrading your spot, well, I live here, so
exactly.
I don't know what to tell you.
If anything, they should be shaking your hand.
Oh yeah, definitely. So my landlord actually said that that we're the only people he's considered offering to buy the place to.
That's a blessing right there.
He's had tenants for years. He had at one point up to I think 93 rentals, and never once considered offering a place to one of his tenants.
And you're the first one.
Yeah.
That's why God is good. I said God is good. I mean, it's how you do things. You know what I mean? Like I said good people recognize good people.
That's it.
And that's so true. I don't have much more to say, but I was thinking like our next episode, what should it be about?
I saved a couple topics here. Mindset and AI. There was something else we were talking about earlier in the episode. I couldn't remember what it was. It was something I had mentioned, and I said we needed to talk about make a whole episode about that next. I'll go back and listen to it, and I'll take some notes from what we've been talking about.
Okay, because I know definitely mindset. Before I go to sleep, I've been reading a book about mindset too, like no other right now. Because it's huge. It's huge, right? It's huge for me because my mindset is like everybody be going through a whole bunch of BS, and I just sideswipe it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I sideswipe it because I'm on that positivity level. I'm trying to look for what book it was called.
Yeah, that's what I tell people too, man. Life's going to continue to throw punches at you. You just got to roll with them. You can't let that stuff hold you back. And so you're going to find that in business of all sorts. When you get into business, there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be speed bumps. There's going to be things that make you think, oh man, should I keep doing this? Should I go and get a job at McDonald's? Should I, Safeway's union. I hear they pay okay. Should I go do that? No, you shouldn't. You should stick to your guns and you should do what you know you have to do. That doesn't mean don't get your bills paid.
No.
Starve. By no means do I mean that.
No.
However, that doesn't mean you give up. that doesn't mean that you go devote yourself to somebody else's mission, you know?
No.
There's lots of ways to make money. There's lots of ways to get yourself fed while you're doing this, you know? If you don't have children to take care of, then jump in, you know? Somebody told me once that the difference between a wealthy person and a poor person when they're starting a new venture is that a poor person's going to try to find every angle about the thing. They're going to try to learn every piece of knowledge that there is to know about it. And a rich person, a wealthy person is just going to jump in feet first.
Yes.
You know, they're going to try to learn as much as they can on the fly. And speaking from personal experience, I find in life that that's the best way to do things. Get a general idea of what needs to get done and just get in there and start getting it done.
Yeah, because you don't need to know everything. You just know a little something to something.
Look, I'll tell you, let me learn a little bit, all right? And I become a lot of dangerous.
Yes.
That's the problem. Start letting me learn a little bit and watch what happens.
I'm with you.
Same thing with you, man. That's why we teamed up.
Yes.
I see the same thing happen with you. I see you learn a little bit of something here and there, and all of a sudden you're just on it.
Yeah, I am.
On it.
The book I've been reading tonight is called Relentless Drive, How to Cultivate Grit and Thrive in the Face of Adversity. So
Who's that by?
It's a PDF. It's by, I can't even, it doesn't say the name. I'm looking through everything. It doesn't say the name. If I find it, I'll put it in the next episode, and I might even put it on our. It is actually really good. I've been reading it at night.
Okay.
Yeah, because especially in mindset right now. I mean, look at everything going on in the job market right now. I've seen so many people quit jobs. I've seen so many people fire jobs. Oh, fantastic Friday? No, it's evil Friday because a lot of people get fired on Friday. You don't see people get fired on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You get them. Oh, yeah, just by the way, here's your last check. Thank you for your services.
At the end of the workday, too, like a pimp.
Yes,
like
exactly.
a pimp. I'm going to get all the work out of you I can. And then at the end of the day, here's your last check. We don't need your services anymore.
Exactly.
Thanks for being in California. It's an at-will state.
Yes. My goodness. Yeah. So that's why mindset, multifamily, everything that we talk about, it helps your life. It's helped my life a lot. Like my mindset from 3 years ago to 4 years ago, completely different. I've been studying. I've been working with clients right now, because right now in a couple of weeks, I go down to Monterey. I'll be part of their association of realtors. I have to go, supposed to go June 1st, but I'm going to have to wait a little bit. I have to go to their contract class. Why? Because their pinpoint of homes there are way bigger than the average neighborhood can be. And, when you have the number 2 most beautiful golf course in all the United States, that's what comes with the territory also. And then I also joined besides, because I'm all around in California. So I'm not spreading myself real thin because as Rob knows, like I'm very professional at everything I do. And that's why we're called the professionalist. I'm in Northern California. I'm in Shasta County, which is very beautiful. It has very beautiful landscape and everything. And Northern California with the homes and everything, it's really beautiful. Then you have Monterey, my wonderful vacation spot. I love it because it frees my mind of every single thing. It's just crystal clear. And I was like, well, I might as well join the Association of Realtors down there. I'm like, when I got my California real estate license, it says California real estate. It just didn't say one county. So that's what I did. And then I was like, how about Orange County? Orange County is a beautiful residency. I joined them too. And actually I got some magazines and they gave me like a, welcome and everything. So I'll be down there in September for the Realtor Association convention and then networking with people down there and probably get us, work on getting us in 1 or 2 deals down there also. So I'm amped and ready to go like no other. Like people can tell by my voice and by my face, and I'm so focused. I don't listen to the BS or to the negativity. I sideswipe it. I mean, there's enough negativity and BS. It's all about love and helping people nowadays. That's where I'm at.
That sounds great. You ready to wrap it?
Yep, it's a wrap.
All right, you guys have a great night. Thanks for coming and listening to our podcast. As always, we'll have the website address in the show notes. And when we get the author for that book he's reading, and we'll get that in the show notes for you as well.
Yeah, I'll get that. And then every Sunday, I will definitely be having a brand new blog that comes out. So there's some just altogether 4, and I'll have the 5th one coming out this Sunday. So please read the blog. Just let me know what you think. Comment, subscribe, and it's on from there. And then I'm about to get everything ready for us to do the YouTube. I'm gonna do a nice little video when I'm in Monterey that people can watch and everything from the outskirts of Pebble Beach.
That's right.
And so I'm excited. I have a lot of things on my agenda, but I take it in stride. People can get overwhelmed. I tell them, I spend a lot of nights and a lot of days just thinking and writing stuff down, and like everything comes together like a puzzle. It's like, what's his name from? I always tell you this. What's his name from Hangover? When he's at the blackjack table and he's doing all the equations. I said that's my mind. But I put everything. It takes time, but I put everything together, and it takes just one click, and I'm right there where I need to be.
Yeah, that's that's a sign of not being a complete idiot, man. You're actually intelligent, which is rare these days.
Yeah, right.
Not only are you intelligent, but you know how to use it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that.
All right, Rob. Well, shoot, we out of here, and then next week we'll have another new episode for you and everything, and we'll let people know what's going to be. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be some fire, and I'm going to come out with some straight intensity, because I think that's what we need. We don't need like just like some. I'm not naming names of podcasts, but I've listened to some podcasts, and I've listened to even some videos, and it's straight flat line baritone with no enthusiasm. No, I'm amped. I'm ready to tell people this.
Also, like, people really, really sell themselves more than the information these days.
Exactly.
And really beat around the bush about things. And so...
Oh, yeah, you know about that last week.
That's what I was getting to. I ain't going to say his name, but
no.
That was a waste of an hour and a half of my life. I'll
the
never
20
get
minutes
back.
was really good, but it took us about an hour and a half to get to that 20 minutes.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So... Anyways, like and subscribe. Tell a friend about our podcast. Make sure that you go and check out the blog. Every week there will be a new blog on the website.
Every Sunday.
There's a contact form if you want to get in touch with us. If you want to talk about anything, let us know. Get a hold of us. We're working on getting some social media accounts up. We have an Instagram account right now. We start putting up some informational videos on the TikTok and whatnot. We're going to call it the TikTok like we call it the YouTube, because, we're old men now. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
All right. Peace.